So, are you ready to sit down and have a nice, cozy conversation about design, usability, and accessibility? Then grab a drink. I will wait for a moment. Ah, there you are. Wait, you might want to pour yourself something a little bit stronger. The topic, in my experience, of my conversation with you today tends to elicit tense looks and clenched fists from other designers. And you know what? Not completely without merit, but also not completely well-deserved. So don't worry, you're with friends here. And let's talk about the I in the word design. The I for intelligence, both real and artificial. And how, especially in our field, these needs to work together. But it's very important for us as designers to have and set the right expectations. So forget creating an entire design with a simple prompt, because that is not going to work out like what the AI companies are trying to make us believe. But let's talk about where we can actually have AI help us and make time to focus on the right things that are really important, our users. So unclench those fists, sit down with me and let's talk. I'm Peter Zuidema, but you, my friend, can always call me Zeter. When you work in any job long enough, one of the things that you know is true is that there will always come a disruptive technology that will move things along in a specific direction. I've been doing this work for over 3 decades, and naming a few like JavaScript, Flash, the iPhone that killed Flash with quite some help from itself as well, Outtro and Sketch, which paved the way for our Figma, and now AI. And the story always goes the same way. All the time new technologies are being introduced, all lauded by their own press releases as the next disruptor. And some of them are never to be heard of ever again. And then, once in a while, the quieter releases pick up, improve and get noticed because they actually seem to ignite a spark. And from those technologies, suddenly one might gain traction and become big. And we are facing with a real mover in our field. But come on, you were doing design in the 90s and the 2000s and you put up so much time into mastering Photoshop and Illustrator to create HTML page designs. And now this Flash tool comes along? Nope, I'm not going to do it. It's much too flashy. And then Flash grew. It introduced ActionScript, where we as designers now required to program. Oh, hell no! Flash will never become that big. And then bang, it not just get big, it became immense. It was the glory days for designs on the internet, where most amazing immersive websites were created. So you learn to master this tool. Adobe acquired it, made it feel somewhat in line with the other Adobe tools, so okay, let's try it. And then you get really good at it. You start to love what you can make, and you barely have time to notice a keynote by Steve Jobs introducing the iPhone. Oh, with a side note that the iPhone will not allow Flash sites to run because of security issues. Who needs security anyway? Flash is so big, it is too big to fail. And then it did. Almost overnight, the explosive rise of smartphones killed Flash. I still remember Flash fondly. The reasons it went under are not unfounded, but that doesn't take away the fact that being able to design whatever you wanted and create completely new kinds of immersive experiences, even for the most mundane websites, it was glorious. But now you've spent all that time mastering a tool that has become extinct. What now? Learning JavaScript? Really feeling like we did not take one, not two, but at least 3 steps back in time? So you do that, or you decided to stick with design or choose the dev route, with a few of us turning out to be full-stack masters. Luckily, the jump between ActionScript and JavaScript was minimal, knowing they were based on the same technology, so we did. At least I did. And I'll get to AI, I will promise you that. Now you're working on the design front and there are a few quiet years. Some of us might suddenly start playing around with Axure RP, a tool that has gained some traction in the design space for wireframing. But you feel comfortable in Photoshop and Illustrator again. So you don't really lift an eyebrow. Oh, what's that? Sketch, you say? You hear that in multiple locations, but your company doesn't use Macs, so it's not really on your radar. Photoshop will do the trick for right now. And then Figma bursts onto the stage. Sketch tries to catch up, Adobe tries to push their clone, branded XD, but nothing is stopped. Stop it! I am done with changing my ways. I've done so much work and I am experienced. I've won awards and I've received so many great recommendations and reviews. I don't need to change. Leave me alone. But then you see the new kid in your team doing the design work that took you days and do it in hours at most. And not only that, it works and he can reuse it and turn it into a prototype on the fly. So there you go, learning this new thing. I think by now you know where I'm going with this. When you work long enough and stick with a field, you learn that this is the way things get better. Of course, you might feel comfortable with the tools that you use, and some will work perfectly fine as they always did. You can design the most wonderful websites using Photoshop to this day. But is it the most efficient way to work? Especially when you're going to create a design for an enterprise application that requires you to think about many different variations of the same page. It is important to understand that every tool that you use to do your craft is there to help you. It does not do the work for you. Even if it could, it is never as powerful as when you, the driving force behind the tool, wield it. It was never the tools that defined the field. It is how the tools supported the people who work in the field and excel because they understand how to use them to become better at their work. So you know where this is going, and we're arriving there pretty soon. Because there is this new tool called AI. You might have heard about it because of everything and everywhere. Sure, they promoted that businesses can replace a designer by just writing, create a design that for an application that does this and that. And look, it's built. You actually see it working when people demonstrate it. And then you read everywhere about how AI is coming for your job, especially your design job. It is time to panic. Actually, is it? Or are we looking at another disruptor that can actually provide us with something incredibly useful? Let's find out. Don't be fooled by the moniker artificial intelligence. Artificial means more or less fake, so fake intelligence. Addressing it like this might make you feel more comfortable. So take another sip of that drink and let's see the tool for what it is. AI can communicate really well, and to an untrained eye, it looks and sounds really intelligent. You can ask it to create a design for you, and there it is, in seconds for something that would have taken you minutes, an hour perhaps. That will start making you feel uncomfortable really quickly. But let's analyze this. You work for a client with a very specific style guide and a color palette you need to follow. Try writing a simple prompt for that. It doesn't work. You will end up spending more time trying to vibe design your way through it than just putting it together in Figma. Believe me, OpenArc, the company I work with, and I have been working for a long time to research how AI fits into human-centered design process and the development process in a way that makes the work not only faster, but of a higher quality. And that's not a simple thing. When you work with AI and know exactly what you need to achieve in design, you will notice it takes much longer to write a prompt to achieve this goal than to simply do the work yourself. After all, you are not only a trained designer with more experience than connects with specific clients and users, but a lot of the material that AI uses to do its work might simply not be suited for it. And therefore, AI might come up with a result that feels 80% right, but as we all know, 80% is a long way from 100%. And getting AI to go that last 20% is simply not that easy. Not at all. Don't get me wrong, I'm not done yet, because you will be wanting to embrace this technology. Here's the thing. AI is a very capable tool. It might sound intelligent, but it is not. However, there's something it's really good at. Much better than you, I, or any other designer out there. And that is analyzing and making recommendations based on what you tell it to. And it can be really good at learning new repetitive tasks that you actually don't want to do in the first place. Oh yes, you know the tasks I'm talking about. The things that, if you tally them up, maybe take 20-40% of your time to analyze and go through? For example, you designed a long process, and to make changes, you had to break a component into multiple parts while the client was reviewing the designs with you. But now you have to go through 100 screens to check whether your changes should or should not affect other screens. You can tell AI to do that for you. It might not be 100% accurate, but it will be much faster and probably as accurate as when you did it yourself. Or you got a style guide from your client designed by a pure design company that focuses more on visuals than on interactive aspects. Why don't you ask your AI to take a look at the designs and start creating basic Figma components from them? Believe me, they will not be as you want them to be, but it will give you a major head start, leaving you to fine-tune and probably saving you hours and hours of work. Or in my case, I know that one of my weaknesses is, which my BA will happily agree to, a shout out to the amazing Mitchell Spira from OpenArc here, that once I am focused or a bit under pressure to deliver, I might overlook small elements on a screen or in a long process. I can train an AI to review my designs, detect design gaps, and report them back to me so I can review them. I can. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to. Or maybe you would like to spend more time actually doing the thing you like in design, the designing itself. So check what work you would like to get rid of or reduce, and check if you can set an AI up to do that work for you, or at least help you with it so you can do what you're good at and make yourself better by doing it more. What I hope to convey here is that there is a new technology out there that may seem to be aimed at your job, but it is not. However, not learning to use it and finding how it can make you do your work better is a real missed opportunity. For the people out there who have been doing this work for over a quarter of a century, you can compare it to the hype around Dreamweaver 2 or FrontPage, which promised to do the programming of a website for you. Where are they now? Did they eliminate the developers' jobs? If I'm correct, the developer market started booming after their releases. Using AI in design, and I'm being real here, is absolutely an option for businesses that do not have their own designers and have no funds to hire them. But companies that plan to rely solely on AI for the design work will and are finding that making up for shortcomings of that approach is much more expensive and takes much more time than having someone with skill and experience working with AI to do the work. Be that person. Be that designer who enhances their qualities with AI, but does not let it replace where you are essential. Creating a design, a usable design for our users, for our customers, that has heart and carries empathy. You will be a force to be reckoned with. And I hope this got you a little bit more at ease and not see it as doom and gloom, but actually unlocking so much more potential in you. Well, that is about it. I would really appreciate it that if you enjoyed this video to subscribe and or follow my channel. And that said, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.